privilege of introducing the next Hall of Fame inductee, which seems appropriate because I've known him for over 28 years. Even though we've seen a lot of time go by, I promise you that his love of competition and love of the sport has not diminished one bit. He was a multiple state placer in wrestling for Walton and continued to be a multi-sport athlete, or continued his career as a multi-sport athlete at the Citadel, where he wrestled, played football, and took up boxing. He is a very talented athlete and has always been an extremely intense competitor. After graduation, he was determined to give back to the sports that mean so much to him, particularly wrestling. I had to utilize his passion multiple times as an off-season strength and conditioning coach, as a folk style coach, as a freestyle coach, you name it, we tried to use him in any way we could. But I'm especially proud of his latest endeavor. About 8 years ago, he found a way to be even more involved in wrestling, and he became a referee. Now, he has proven to be very fair and very consistent. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robert Felder Reaves.
Beast mode.
Thunder.
My name is Robert Felder Reaves. In high school, I wrestled under the name Robbie Felder. And at the Citadel, I wrestled under the name Rob Reaves. So I didn't know how to put this in here, but I wanted to honor both sides of my family. I got my wife of 19 years, my kids, my mom and dad here. But I love the sport. Wrestling saved my life. I was at Mabry Middle School in the 7th grade, going to the 8th grade. Moving here from Cincinnati, a really tough town. Someone double dogged at me to jump on the PE teacher's back and cross-facing. But it was a double dog there, so we're like, what do you want me to do? So I jumped on his back and I cross-faced him. And he body slammed me and he drugged me in the office. Well, I don't know if you know this story, I have to give you, but he drugged me in his office and he said I could have you expelled from Cobb County schools. I could have your parents arrested. He said, but I won't tell anybody to come wrestle for me. I said, you're not gonna tell anybody? He said, ma'am, that's one heck of a crossface right there. I said, what's that? He said, man, let me show you, right? So I started wrestling for the junior team with at Lassiter, but I ended up like hurting my teammates a lot. So this coach would drive me over to the Lassiter High School varsity team, where I met Coach Day, and I found a love for throwing people under Coach Day, okay? Again, wrestling saved my life. And once Coach Murphy once said to me that if you can do this, you can do anything. It's all about the 3 Ds: determination, dedication, and discipline, just like life. And I try to tell my kids sometimes about, and the kids that I wrestle with and I practice with, that, you know, I never cry to quit. I only cry to keep going. And that's a wrestler's mentality that I try to push to all the kids that I coach with. Never quit. Cry to keep going. Get that extra mile. Get that extra period in. While at Walton High School, I earned 11 letters. I had 4 in wrestling, 3 in football, 2 in track, and 2 in soccer. But none meant more to me than wrestling. Through wrestling, a project kid earned a scholarship to the Citadel, where I went to 3 NCAA tournaments and graduated in 1995. Wrestling is who I am, and wrestlers are my extended family. One of the greatest things in life to be called, other than dad, is coach. You know, I see kids I've trained for 10 years, and now they're professionals, and they got kids, and they got families, and you see them, they go, coach. I've known this man 28 years, he played golf. I still call him coach, you know? Still call all these guys coaches, you know? And coach. You ever see a big coach? I can coach. It is a wonderful thing to have to bring to people. So let me get to my thank yous. First off, I'd like to thank God, to my parents who believed in me and gave up all their weekends and vacations to hang out in a stinky gym weekend after weekend, right? I played so many sports that I would have to leave one game in the third quarter and change in the car, put my football pads over my soccer uniform on the way to get to the second quarter of the next game on the other side of town. Yet they were able to pull it off, and we made it work. Let's see here. To my wife of 19 years, Michelle, and to my children, because I've had to give up a lot of their playing time, their games, in order to referee and be a part of this sport. Because it was 8 years ago when they were trying to decide to take wrestling out of the Olympics. You guys remember that? And I was complaining about it. And again, my coach, my mentor says, well, if you're not going to be involved, what are you complaining about? And the light came on. Like, you know what? I got a lot of things to give to people. So I started getting back into wrestling, and I started coaching and refereeing again. And I appreciate it, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that now. So I'd like to thank Coach Day, who taught me how to throw people. I first went over there, I had first known the coach that showed me. He said, "You played football?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Back then it was what we called blast double. It had a different name back then." He said, "That's what we call a double. It's a football tackle, a double." And then he showed me a small package cradle. And that's all I had. And I beat everybody with that. Blast double, small package cradle. And then Coach Day said, "You ever heard of a headlock? Let me show it to you." And he actually showed it to me. I'm 12, and he didn't die. He showed me the headlock. And I fell in love with that. My first year winning state, I pinned my way through state with the headlock. And then in high school, going in, and you know, my record was like 140 and like 12 or something like that in high school. 139 pins, and they were mostly headlocks. If you got me in the third period, you had a chance to beat me. I was going to headlock you. I didn't have to win. Because of people like me is why you gotta take your shoes now. Because I always found time to, hold up, where's my shoe? He's the only coach in the world. I'm walking around like this. Look, like, the contact. He's like, hit my guy. He doesn't wear contacts. That's stalling. But I was going to use all my 2 minutes for sure of injury time. To Arturo Holmes. Arturo still coaches a lot of you guys. He was one of my first side coaches. He taught me my first scramble technique, how to chain wrestle, how to put a move when you miss, go to the next move and keep it going. And for him, I'm forever grateful. Coach Brian Hay, for his old Dark 30 runs in the summer at his house. Me and his oldest son, Scott, were real close. And I go to spend the night at his house for a week, and he comes to my house for a week. But every morning at 5:30, me, him, and his little brother Sean, and Stephen was real little, had to get all old Dark 30 runs, 5 miles. Then we would go play, you know. So I appreciate him on that. And again, the Hank brothers and my brothers, and Sean, we beat up on that kid until, well, we couldn't at some point, right? And he reminded me the other day about me about to punch him because he hit me with a hip blast. And I come home from the Citadel, already won the Southern Conference. I didn't realize that Sean, little brother, was like 6-time Fargo champion, world champion. He was just my buddy's little brother. So I went in there and took a shot, and that guy hit me so hard in the face and he busted my nose. And his dad had tackled me because I was going to fire him up. Oh my gosh. But now I know why. He's a world champion. So, and my other coaches, like Coach Strong and Coach Latazori, was over at Wheeler at the time, man. I appreciate all the love you've given me, you know. And Coach Winterstein, for yelling at me as a wrestler and as a ref, right, staying on me. Stacy Davis and Jeff